Now we have seen that files are the most important parts in the operating system, right, or in a computer, because everything in a computer is generally considered as a file. Even if you look at IO device, it is considered as a file, or if you look at any piece of code, that is also stored as a file. Therefore, managing all these files is the most crucial thing, and the file system is the part of the operating system, which is the code which will be responsible for managing the files. Right, so files is a separate entity, and file system is the software which is going to manage all these files. And since files is going to form the major part of the computers, file system has to form the major part of the operating system, right? So let's see what exactly the file system deals with. Okay, first thing is, file system provides the mechanism for online storage and access to file contents, including data and programs. So either it is a data or programs, or some operating systems even consider IO devices also as files, right? Therefore everything is a file, and file system is the only means by which you can access a file. Now file system deals with the following issues. The first one is file structure. So we have seen what a file structure is. So there are various data structures associated with managing the file. So everything will be taken care by the file system, right? Everything will be managed, created, deleted, everything will be done by the file system. And the next one is to allocate disk space. Now the main thing while creating a file is where you are going to store it. Generally you are going to store it in the disk. Now if you are going to store it in the disk, the problem is how are you going to store it and how are you going to retrieve it. So you have to manage everything, especially the disk space. So allocating disk space will also be done by the file system. Whenever you create a file, disk space has to be allocated. That will be done by file system. And the next one is recovering the freed space. So if this is the disk, now some file will be allocated now, and later it will be deleted, right? And again some file will be allocated. Let's say many files are allocated and they are given some space. Whenever you delete a file, that space is going to be freely available for the next allocation. Therefore you are supposed to manage this free space. That is nothing but recovering the freed space. You have to recover it and use it later. And the next one is to track the locations of data. Sometimes what happens is the disk will be divided into blocks, and a file need not be stored in one block. You might store the file in many blocks, and all these blocks need not be contiguous. In that case, a file may be present in many blocks which are not contiguous, and you need to track what is the, where did you store that file on the disk. So you have to maintain a record of that. That is also done by the file system. And the next one is interface other parts of the operating system to the secondary storage. So whenever you want to access the secondary storage, even though secondary storage is an IO device, it is completely controlled by file system, because everything that you store on the secondary storage will be in the form of files, and all the files are being managed by the file system. Therefore if you want to access the secondary storage, you have to go through the file system. So file system is going to form a kind of interface between the operating system and the hard disk or the secondary storage in general. Okay, so these are all the issues which have to be dealt by our file systems. Let's see how file system deals with all of these one by one. Okay, fine.